now would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, you were just, Andrea, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, guys. You know, we have a very exciting and wonderful opportunity to help someone that has helped so many people in this room over the years. To his brothers and sisters in labor, I can remember many years ago, he was the one encouraging everyone to run. And now he's walking the walk. So, thank you, Senator, for now. And at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Dana Redd. Dana is someone that has reinvented government in Camden, someone that we're also very proud of and love a lot. Dana Redd.
Good morning, South Jersey Democrats. Are you with us on this one? Yeah. Oh, you can do better than that. Yeah. Good morning, South Jersey Democrats. Are you with us? I want to thank Senator Beach for the introduction, and truly it is an honor to be here to support someone who is near and dear to my heart, and certainly to the city of Camden, and that is, for now, Senator Don Norcross, but our next congressman from the 1st Congressional District. As the mayor of Camden, I can attest to the power of partnerships and working with experienced leaders who certainly know how to get the job done. And during my tenure of being in public service, working with Don Norcross, it certainly has been a remarkable journey. And now as the mayor of Camden, I'm pleased and proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with him in transforming our community, our city invincible, into the shining urban anchor in the state of New Jersey. Don Norcross has worked with me and our council members and our residents, not only to facilitate public safety, when we launched together the Camden County Police Department, Camden Metro Division, which has now put more officers on the streets of Camden, patrolling our neighborhoods and patrolling our business corridors. Aside from public safety, he has also stood with me on education and is the proud sponsor of the Urban Hope Act, which will bring Renaissance schools to the city of Camden. Because Don Norcross believes that every child should have an education that opens up a door of opportunity, and an education that should not be defined by your zip code. And we're grateful to him for his leadership in education. Finally, you will hear Don talk about the three-legged stool: public safety, public education, and economic growth. And as the sponsor of the Economic Opportunity Act of 2013, we know that jobs are coming to our region, jobs are coming to Camden, because he believes the best social program is a job. I can think of no better person to represent us in the U.S. House of Representatives than Don Norcross. He will be our next congressman hailing from the 1st Congressional District. Give it up. And in the spirit of my political mentor, who is no longer with me, and with Novella, Teddy Henson and the Camden crew will be right there with you, pulling the vote and making sure we send you to Washington, D.C. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce our next speaker. I certainly can say that we need more women in political office, more women who represent the diverse interests of our state of New Jersey. She is someone who was first elected to the Camden or the Burlington County Board of Chosen Freeholders back in 2012. when her opponents outspend her 6-1. It certainly speaks to her grit, to her tenacity, and her passion to bring people together, again, around the solutions that we need to see move forward. And I'm certain that she will make a great addition representing the 3rd Congressional District, going to the House of Representatives with our very own Don Norcross. Please welcome Burlington County Freeholder, Amy Belgard.
Good morning, everyone. I see we have some Burlington County folks in the house. Hooray! Welcome, everybody. So I am so honored to be here today. And as a Burlington County freeholder, for those of you who don't know me, one of the things that I have prided myself on in Burlington County is being able to work across the table, work across the aisle with my colleagues on the Freeholder Board. And I think that's what we've lost sight of in Washington, D.C. I think, we can negotiate, we can cooperate with one another, and if we did more of that in Washington, D.C., we'd be in a better place. Now, Senator Donald Norcross gets that. Senator Norcross doesn't just get that, he lives by those principles. That's why we need to see Senator Norcross in Washington, D.C. I want to thank everyone for coming today and really being a part of this so that you can help both Donald Norcross and myself get to Washington, D.C. so that we can work with our colleagues and the Brinksman partisanship that has tied up this country. If we can do more of that, we will be in a much better place. I'm so thrilled to be here with great leaders such as Senator Norcross and Senator Sweeney, who are true exemplars of working across the table with other folks to really serve the people. We serve the people here in New Jersey. We need to serve the people in Washington, D.C. I look forward to the campaign trail with Senator Norcross and then serving the people in this great area of South Jersey and throughout the nation. With that, I will turn it over to Senator Sweeney.
He is so scared of what I'm about to say. He has threatened me, but he showed my afro picture to everybody, so that's not a surprise. But we did grow up in Pennsauken, and I do have pictures and stories. But, this is a very serious event today, and something that I'm thrilled to be at. And because Donald's family to me, the Norcross family and the Sweeney family are our families. We grew up together. We worked with each other, we supported each other. And the facts, as Jim Beach said, Donald is the one that got me to run. Which at times I say thank you, and at times I want to do something to him. And I'm looking at his family being a little nervous about what the next venture in Donald's life is, but realize Donald always put everyone else first. Donald always did. It stems back from his father. It's about community service. It's about looking out for the people that need to have a voice. Looking out to help someone. Looking out when someone needs a meal or a job or a place to live. That's what his father did, and that's what their family has done their entire careers. Again, Donald, as Jim said, pushed everybody to run for office. And eventually said, what about you, big guy? It's not a whole lot of fun at times. But, you need someone in Washington that knows what it's like to collect an unemployment check. To knows what it's like to have friends that have lost their houses. And to care about the working class people in this country. Because that's what we've lost. We've lost the middle class. We need people that are actually that have lived it, been there, have done that. So you don't have to explain to them how hard it is to make that electric bill. Or why you have to do something about electric costs. It's someone that actually goes into a union hall and understands, look, if I don't get a job, I can't send my kids to school. Affordability of education, how important it is. That's Donald. Donald's one of us. I can't believe an iron worker saying such nice things about an electrician. The only harder thing is it was about carpenters, to be honest with you. But Donald, I'm telling you, think about putting one of us in a position that understands what it's like to live day in and day out to work and deal with the struggles that we do as average citizens, and not to be afraid to stand up and do what has to be done. Donald has done a lot of courageous things in the short time he's been in the legislature because he was worried about the people. And he put people before politics, he put people before his own career, and you know something? And he's making a difference. Whether it's the Opportunity Scholarship Act that's going to bring billions of dollars of construction and new jobs to South Jersey, to the Camden Police Force that wasn't easy for any of us from labor to support, but we had to because people were struggling. We have a true champion of the people. Someone that is one of us. But think about it. If we had a few more of us in Washington, you think we'd do a little bit better?
Yeah.
It's time we send a union electrician to Washington. My dear friend Donald Norcross.
Wow. What a long, strange trip this has been. 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call. But hang on, before I do, we're in the VFW hall here in Belmar. And first I want to thank them for what they did. But we got a guy here in the front row who's just been a terrific guy to learn to know. He went to D-Day, the Battle of the Bulge. He drove one of those half-tracks you saw in the Dirty Dozen. He was a real guy. Let's give a round of applause to Frank LaCour. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a true hero. That's a true hero. In fact, many of us wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him and men and women like him. I got a phone call a couple weeks ago. At that night, Rob called and says he was going to retire. Wow. Went home, had a conversation with my wife. That was an interesting conversation. But today I'm here to formally kick off my campaign to be your congressman. Yeah. As I'm coming down the street, I see a bunch of shirts out there that said, "Oh, I got a picket line already?" And a picket line, the best kind you can have. One of friends. I'm looking around the room and just so many, there's so many faces from every different part of my life. I can't tell you how humbled I am by this and grateful. And I just want to thank each and every one of you from the day we started making phone calls to showing up here today. I truly appreciate it. To my brothers and sisters in labor, to the electricians, Eddie Gant and the IBW, thank you for your support, not only today, but all the days leading up to today. First of all, to my colleague, as co-chair of the Democratic Party, but my colleague in the Senate, Jimmy Beach. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, what might be the most important person in the room. Mayor Philip Peck helped set up and coordinate the event here, but more importantly, when we were trying to find a site, he goes, "I can guarantee no snow on the day you show up." Right? Thank you. You are super mayor. And to my mayor, Dana Red, who's been an outstanding advocate for men and women her whole life, but in particular as our mayor. Let's give it up for my mayor, Dana Red. Freeholder Amy Bellegarde, thank you very much for coming down, and hopefully we're working together come January. Let's give her a round of applause. And I really did say something to my good friend and Senate President and my colleague, Steve Sweeney. I said, I'm speaking after you. We went to Pennsauken High School together, and I often said one of us played soccer, one played football. And to see that helmet go on that red-headed afro. Anybody see that McDonald's? But I'll say, he's mentioned he has pictures. I have pictures, so you've heard that saying, what goes on in Pennsauken stays in Pennsauken. We're not going there at all. But Steve, for being there as a friend, as a colleague for over 4 decades, I appreciate everything you've done. God bless you. For the most important person who's not in the room today, for Rob Andrews, for his years of service in Washington, his long friendship, his full support of my efforts, son of a shipyard worker, fighting for the little guy. His fierce advocacy for all of us in this room over the decades has been second to none. Rob, we wish you the best. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, to my wife Andrea, who's an Echo Tech at Virtua, the glue that holds it all together, that keeps me grounded, keeps our family going. Honey, I love you and thank you for everything. My son Donald Jr. is following my footsteps. He's a union electrician and an Army vet, and he's actually working today. He, who met my daughter-in-law in South Korea while she was serving our country, who gave me 2 of the greatest gifts a guy could receive, 2 wonderful grandkids, Natalie and Donnie. Let's get them. My daughter Corey, who is the fiercest advocate for Rutgers. See, she was in Rutgers when that issue of higher ed reorg. She's now a practicing attorney. Corey, great to have you here. And my son Gregory, who I believe is entering the absolute toughest profession. He's pursuing his medical degree and one day will be Dr. Greg to all of us. Greg, great to have you. My family literally is my greatest pride, certainly my inspiration. The titles that really count to me is husband, dad, and poppy. They trump all others. Anybody who knows me knows when you've had a tough week, and sometimes we have those tough weeks in Trenton, I said, let me get the kids. We need a weekend of poppies. Nothing like grounding you and remember why we do what we do than to spend a weekend with your kids. They're great, and I love them all. I love my entire family, and I appreciate what you do. Hey, I stand here before you today. I'm a kid from Pennsauken, right? My kids are going to hate this. I'm an electrician with a tie. I say that because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That drive that takes you somewhere. You know, if you want to do something, you absolutely have the ability. You don't have to always have the initials behind your name. It's that drive what gets us. I'm the son of a labor leader. Big George, as a lot of folks know him. Yeah, for those who are out I'll tell you a part you probably don't know. My father started his career as an installer of antennas on homes. Back when you needed a guy to come in, put the antenna in, hook your TV up. And anybody who knew my dad thought, wow, that would have been a picture to take. But listen, he did that. And there were no 400 channels for cable TV. That's the RCA that came out. My mom, stay-at-home mom. I'll tell you what, wow, to raise 4 boys and mom, she did a great job. She waited till we were all in high school or out, and then she went back to college. She went to night school at Camden County College, where I went at Camden County College. And at the time, it was a little awkward. My mother and I graduated together. Absolutely. Now I'll give you one bit. One of us had a grade point average of 4.0. And one of us didn't. Mom was the most brilliant person I've ever known in my life. God bless you, Mom. She went on to become a social worker, specializing in senior daycare, working with the seniors, all the way through until she retires. But Mom's not retired. She'll always, God bless her, sends me these emails, and in the line, give me this great idea for a piece of legislation. She continues to do. There is no stopping Mom. She's been great. Because we were as middle class could be. Mom, Dad, 4 boys, a dog, and a modest house on a modest street in Pennsauken. I had 3 brothers, 3 great brothers who I'm very proud of. Each of them very successful in their careers. One in business, one in law, and one in academia, Dr. John. I'm the only one in the family who decided to go a slightly different route, to work with my hands. But before I got there, I went, as you heard, to Camden County College. I was pursuing a career in law enforcement and public administration. I was going to be in public safety. In fact, for a time, I was an Atlantic City Special Police Officer, which was very interesting, very interesting. But as many of you out there, life takes its twists and turns, and I had an opportunity of a lifetime. I had an opportunity to become an apprentice with the IBW to become an electrician, something that I'll never forget. I've worked outside in virtually every refinery that you see up and down the Delaware. I've worked on the bridges. In fact, you want to talk about cold. I spent a winter on Ben Franklin Bridge. And for those brothers and sisters who are out working those storms, it's one tough job, and we really owe them a debt of gratitude for keeping our power on. But whether it's high voltage, listen, being an electrician, somewhat dangerous of a job. You always got to be on your toes, because one slip and you're not coming home for dinner. And too many times that I want to remember, my coworker didn't make it home. Nothing like that you can experience. I was at Garden State Park when a fellow died, and his son came to pick up his car. Talk about reality. So those are the experiences that I take with me. Remember what it was like to be unemployed. We were the young lady to your left. We were expecting her, and I got laid off. Keep up the face, it's not that bad. We'll make it work. You do more with less until the next job came along, but you made it work. I've had a lifetime of those experiences, and this is an exciting new endeavor. Holding titles, anybody who knows me knows that's not what I like. But my mom and dad taught me something very important. Never forget where you came from. Give back. Be authentic, and most importantly, be yourself. That's why I volunteered for decades for United Way of Camden County. My father served for 15 years, and when his retirement, I had the privilege of going on that board, which I'm now 2 decades working with them. Other nonprofits, I used to run a small nonprofit in Pennsauken for a number of years, building wheelchair ramps, creating call centers for those in need. The building trades, and this is one I'm particularly proud of, to help recruit and train young people, get them off the streets into good paying jobs. That's a career. That's what's something that counts. These are the efforts that provided a foundation for my work in public safety. I was elected back in 2009 to represent Camden and Gloucester counties in the Assembly and then in the Senate. Hit the ground running. I had never been an elected official before, but I studied the process, found out how legislation worked, developed the relationships, and yes, as Stephen said, I developed relationships on both sides of the aisle. We might fight like hell as D's and R's, we understand that, but when you put your hand on that Bible and you're sworn in, it's about doing what's right for the people you represent. And that's the type of attitude that I hope to take to Washington. Real world experiences. That's why I'm running. I'm running for Congress because South Jersey needs to continue to have an effective advocate. a voice in Washington who understands the issues that matter most to people. My personal experience has taught me, working with the unions and United Way, that every problem a person has is easier to deal with when they have a job. And when they have a job that pays the bill. My priority is to ensuring good paying, high-tech, family-sustaining jobs for the future. My focus will be where I started in Trenton. We need affordable college opportunities so parents aren't making a tough decision whether to take a second or a third mortgage out, or whether to deplete their life savings just so their child can go to college. It's a vicious cycle that we in the middle class is taking us backwards, not taking us forward. We need to retain and lure in those high-tech development firms, develop opportunities for high-tech industry in our area. As senator, this is a great one, Corey, you'll love this. We led the fight to keep Rutgers right here in South Jersey, right? To designate Broward as a major research hub. So now we can take advantage of the first new medical school in our generation in Camden, as well as the world-renowned MD Anderson Cancer Institute at Cooper. I'll continue that fight. You know why? Because we need to keep our best and our brightest here in South Jersey. When we look back over the history of where we are, Camden used to be that economic powerhouse. Manufacturing. It was RCA, right? Campbell Soup, the shipyard, the list goes, J.B. Van Skyler, the list goes on and on. We need to start building things here in America again. I live in the building where my father's first job was, the RCA Victor building down in Camden, where they made the first talking machine, the first radio, the first TV. Wow. I will develop and support those initiatives in Congress that create manufacturing opportunities here by rewarding business innovation, reversing the trend, and my brothers and sisters in labor know that offshoring, that leaves New Jersey workers behind. That must cease. Create the incentives to keep the jobs here in New Jersey. Stephen, myself, we authored Game-Changing Economic Opportunity Act, a law that will create thousands of jobs here in New Jersey. Remember, that's what this campaign is about. Jobs for American workers, affordable educational opportunities for our children, and ensuring South Jersey gets its fair share. But I can't do it on my own. I need your help. Are you with me? Yeah! Now's the time to make it happen. Let's do this together. Let's get to work. Thank you very much.
I have to give a couple quick announcements. First, I said to Melissa, maybe I should introduce the VIPs in the room. She said, they're all VIPs. So I said, well, how about Senator Madden? Can I introduce him? She said, no. So sorry, Fred, I can't introduce him. But I also want to remind you that there's refreshments here, and most importantly, make sure before you leave that you sign the petition for our next Congressman, Congressman Donald Norcross.